Welcome back. We've been looking at the developments in Nigeria's political and economic space with barely 3 months to the 2019 general elections. Our guest is the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Babatunde Ruwashi. Stay with us. The Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, recently on a program on Channels TV said that he responded to that question on the case of high-profile people in the APC government that had not, allegation that they have not been tackled, and they said that the public is making a mountain out of a molehill, that the federal government would not be stampeded into intervening in the judicial, in an issue that is purely judicial, and the very fact that these issues are already being handled at the highest level. He's accusing some Nigerians that in one breath they are saying that the federal government does not respect the rule of law, and in another breath they are pressurizing the federal government to stampede the process of justice. What do you make of this statement?
Well, it's people are free to express their opinion, and you will also agree that justice should be dispensed without fear or favor, like the case of the money found at the Ambodilan flat. Up to now, we were told that the whistleblower had been compensated, but there's no record that anybody has been charged to court, brought before the court of law. So these are the sort of things that people see, and then they wonder why it should happen this way. But the long and short of it is that as a people, we need to look at ourselves. We need to, when you talk of restructuring, we need to really restructure the way we think, our values and all that. Because, if what is important is if you are taken before the law court, there are some cases that have been there for more than 10 years. It's not the executive that will make pronouncements, it's judiciary that will do it. But then there are a lot of obstacles that have been brought in. And, the Chief Justice of the Federation is also trying to do some reform that will ensure speedy trial and court taking decision fastly on this one. It's actually a failure at different levels. But those that I am also concerned about is the National Assembly. These are the people that are representing the people. And they have not made laws that directly fights corruption. If those laws are there and any other arm of government like the executive fails to do it, they know there is a way of bringing them to justice. So, because the National Assembly has not played its own part in this war of corruption, it's the executive is left to decide on which one to take first and which one not to handle. But if it was very clear, there wouldn't have even been this
let's come to that of issue of revenue generation now, because everything we are talking about is tied to this now. And when we talk of revenue generation, we'll look at Nigeria's national tax policy. There have been different advocacy on this. Some are saying that instead of the federal government increasing its tax rates, it should widen and deepen its tax nets.
Yes, that's correct.
What's your view on
this?
I
quite agree with that, because we know that the tax net, those who are within the tax net in Nigeria are very few indeed. And the very wealthy, even from what has happened recently, the very wealthy are not within the tax net. So instead of increasing tax rate, we should do more of bringing more people into the darkness. And the Federal Inland Revenue Service is doing that actually at this time. A lot of people have been brought into the net. The BVN also had helped. All the measures that this government is doing will bring more and more people. And I think we should stay at that. See how much we can collect by way of taxes instead of increasing the rate. In fact, maybe we have to reduce the rate.
We have a very worrisome scenario when we look at the state of Nigeria's ports, the issue of tackling the ports gridlock. The statistics are very worrisome in a situation where we have about 600 billion naira being lost as from custom revenue, and 2.5 billion naira also being lost from corporate revenue across board, across sectors. And we also have a worrisome scenario of $10 billion from non-oil exports. What do you make of this?
Yeah, that, you know, we carried out a study, and those figures that we are rolling out is the result of the study we carried out, which was sponsored by SIPE. It's quite worrisome, but this problem has not been with us today. Actually, at one meeting recently, what I said was that even an economy has developed around this inefficient port. So we need to actually look at those who are making money out of it. Take, for instance, or evacuation of things, consignment from the port, the dry cargo and the soft, and the...
Is this really MDA induced?
I'm not saying the MDA, it's a weakness that is there that people now capitalize on. The tank farms that are around Apapa Port is as a result of us not using the pipelines that traditionally being used. The fact that we are not using the rail line to take out containers from the port is why we have plenty of trucks around the port. And they are not all there to evacuate containers. So what we need to do, and those people who are benefiting from this inefficiency and lack of transparency in the port, will do everything to frustrate it.
So who is, because experts have moved that the solution to deal with this port issue is to concession the ports.
We have concession the port. That's not the solution. We are talking of access to the port, in and out of the port. That's why we have the problem. We have concession the port.
So why is it not working? Is it that the concessioning did not adopt the holistic approach?
No, it's not the concessionaires. You have the government agencies that are at the port who also are creating a little bit of problem within the port area. That is the efficiency. But we are talking of the gridlock. I think you are talking of the gridlock, the dwelling time within the port area of cargo.
We understand that an average cargo takes from between 15 to 20 days to clear, and that's the best you can get.
Yes, those are problems within the system.
So what should governments begin to do now?
Automation of the process as much as possible. Reduction of human interface, which is very easy now with the development in ICT. We need to do that. But then we are talking of even access to and out of the port. We need to start using the rail line that is into that port to move out consignment from outside the port. We also need to develop some other port outside the two Lagos ports that are there. We need to use pipeline to take out wet cargo out of the port. And this, of course, some businesses will go out of, some people will go out of business. But then that's the right way to go. And that's the only thing that can solve this problem of gridlock that we have there, because not all the vehicles that you see, all the trucks, all the tankers that are there, that are also there to do business. Some of them are there to canvass.
Before we wind up, because of time, let's also quickly look at the wave of killings, issues of national security in the country. Experts are worried that this will create a huge stumbling block for investors, foreign investments in the country. What do you make of this implication of this insecurity?
It's unfortunate that we have such insecurity, but then if you look around the world, where do we have security? What we need to do is to create a good business environment. The businessman will come if he's going to make money.
The wave of killings happening repeatedly, a few months to the election, do you see any implication?
Of course, it's when election, the sort of environment we are, if you go back into history, when elections are approaching like this, unfortunately, we have such incidences happening. So I'm not disturbed. It's not the best for us, but these are just results of failure in so many things. Do
you think we can have free and fair elections come 2019?
I believe we can have it. We've had elections before, and I believe, we keep on getting assurances from the regulator, that is INEC, that they would do. It's up to the politicians too now to play their own part, and we as Nigerians to ensure that we have free and fair election. We will get the best we will get is what we aspire for and what we work for as a people. That's my belief.
The President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Babatunde Ruwashi, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benga. Nice for coming. Yeah.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time from Channels TV's Global Headquarters, Lagos. Send us a comment on our social media platforms showing right on your screen. Join us next week on another fresh episode of the show. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru. Bye for now.